Okay, good morning, everybody. Let us start our class today. You know, we are discussing the phenomenon of axisymmetrical stress loading. Now, we know what is axisymmetry. We have discussed a number of times. Next, we are gone through a practical situation where we have a axisymmetric pipe item like a cylinder like this, which both the ends are open, means it works like a pipe itself, and there is a fluid pressure inside the this cylinder as well as air pressure on the outside of the cylinder. So you have to deal both of them. Now we have discussed how it have started.
Hello, excuse me, sir.
Huh? Hello, bolo.
हेलो सर.
हाँ, बोलो.
सर हम ये बोल रहे हैं सर, आपके जितने भी वीडियो लेक्चर हैं सबके लिंक आप एक जगह रखे हैं क्या?
I can't understand. बोलना. सबका लिंक.
Can you please, sir, can you please send me all your video link?
हाँ. Call my HOD.
Sir,
What I
solid
asked.
mechanics का जितना भी लिंक है ना,
हाँ.
sir, I would like to watch your all video of solid mechanics by sequence.
Old video of solid.
So I am asking you, have you kept your, yes sir, have you kept your all video of solid mechanics link in one folder?
No. All audio of in
Sir, please,
solid
can
mechanics.
you?
What you exactly want? What's your name?
Yes sir.
What is your name?
ऑडियो नहीं सर, वीडियो.
क्या?
प्रमोद सर, ऑडियो नहीं सर, वीडियो जो क्लास रिकॉर्ड हो रहा है ना,
हाँ,
क्लास का वीडियो सर, जो यूट्यूब में आप अपलोड करते हैं ओ.
वीडियो ऑफ सॉलिड मैकेनिक्स.
यस सर, जो अभी आप रिकॉर्ड कर रहे हैं ना सर क्लास में.
हाँ, सो यस, आई हैव सेंड इट.
तो उसको यूट्यूब में आप अपलोड करते हैं ना?
हाँ.
यस सर, यस सर.
आई अपलोड एवरी डे. कल क्या अपलोड किया?
यस सर.
सो व्हाट्स द प्रॉब्लम?
यस सर, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है सर.
Oh, अच्छा, सही जिज्ञेस करছো. Actually, as per our norms, we are
Yes, sir.
supposed to upload all the YouTube videos which you have YouTube uploaded videos to you. ठीक है? That is the idea.
Yes sir.
And at least I am doing it every day. ठीक है?
Yes,
If you
sir.
have any problem with other faculties, you can directly talk with them, or you can talk with our HOD. आशीष सर से बात करो. ठीक है? Let us start.
कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है सर.
Okay, let us start.
Yes sir, yes sir.
Okay. Actually, we are talking about the axisymmetric items or axisymmetric bodies. What is axisymmetric? I have discussed. Now, we are going through a practical problem here where it is showing that it is also discussed yesterday, where we are having a cylinder with no end cover. It's just like a pipe where this fluid is flowing, coming in and going out. It is not stored or creating pressure, but it has a fluid inside the pipe has a pressure equal to PA, and that outside the pipe has a pressure equal to PB itself. So we have to calculate what will be the universal body equation, the equations, body forces, and here assume that at ZG, sigma G, sigma Z, which is the stress along the longitudinal axis of the cylinder. Does not exist because there is no cover here, so no force is created in the longitudinal direction. And we know, and same is the case with there is no shear stress in Z direction. So we have our equation reduced to this form. We have changing d by dr, d dr, sigma r minus sigma theta by r is equal to 0, which means we have the rate of change of radial stress and radial stress sigma r in terms of the range of change in radius, and we have sigma r minus sigma theta. What is sigma r? Is the radial stress. Sigma theta is the circumferential stress of a particular point over the surface of the cylinder itself. Now, what is have? We have only independent variable is r. R is the radius of the cylinder itself. It is not depending, but others are dependent on it. So the above equation let me written as, in this position we can reduce to r sigma r minus sigma theta is equal to 0. So this is just a mathematical matter, but it will help. This equation will help us. Equation 1 is identically satisfied by Hooke's law. Epsa r means the eccentricity along the radial direction is given by this formula, 1 by e sigma r minus gamma means Poisson's ratio sigma theta, and epsa theta 1 by e gamma theta minus sigma theta minus gamma into sigma r. Here we are following the equations we have discussed during your third semester in our strength of material or SOM classes itself in Poisson's ratio. So I am not going to go to the details of it. Now the stresses we have to find out the stresses in terms of strengths and support. We have to find out the stresses in terms of strengths, and that will reduce to, in this position, sigma r is equal to E divided by 1 minus gamma square epsilon plus gamma into epsilon theta. And similarly, sigma theta is like this. Now, substituting this in this equation, okay, the stresses will, and in the from the equation of this equation requires this equation, we'll have the sigma r and sigma theta in terms of further clarification, and we are putting as epsilon is equal to dr by dr and u vr, and epsilon theta is ur by r plus v into ur by r, means where ur is the displacement value. So we are having the stresses in the sigma. It is not written here, but I have shown it in the last classes. Now, this substituting this expression, the equilibrium equation, we have the equation will be like this. From this equation, we have put this here in terms of sigma r and sigma theta, and this will reduce to this position, sigma in terms of displacement in r direction and radius displacement in r direction and the radius itself. Next question is, this can be reduced to again d by dr delta sigma ur by dr plus ur by r, because if you derive in terms of d by dr, you will reach this position here. Next is, now this equation as is just written right now, or this will come to this position itself. This is the function. If the function of the function ur is found from this equation, we have two stresses are determined from 6 and earlier equation 6a and b. The solution of this equation can be done by integration, so that ur can be equal to CR r. C1 is a constant r plus C2 divided by r. Both of them are constant of integration, and whose values are here supposed to calculate itself. Now, if we place this function in the ur in the equation sigma and sigma theta, it will become E by 1 minus gamma square remains as it is into C2 and C2 1 plus gamma and C2 1 minus gamma and C1. That should be C. This first should be C1 1 plus gamma, C2 1 minus gamma, C1, C2, etc. These constants C1, C2 are to be determined from the boundary condition, where we have to put r is equal to a, means radius equal to the inner radius of the cylinder. Sigma r will be equal to minus p. Radial stress at the innermost part of the cylinder is the internal force. Internal force acting over the innermost parts. It is compressive nature, so it is put as minus. And r is equal to b, means outer radius it is the outermost radius, where sigma is equal to minus Pb. It is the external force which is acting over the surface of the cylinder. This external force is also uh, compressive in nature, so it is decided to be equal to minus Pp. And if we put this value in case of if we put the R here, and in case of R we put A, and in case of sigma R we put Pa, this first equation will take this particular form, and for the surface of second equation, that will take this particular form itself. Now, when C1 is equal to 1 minus gamma, thus, if we solve among themselves, we'll get C1 1 minus gamma di E, and P2 Pa A square minus B square divided by B square by A square. Same is the case with C2 itself. We got the value of C1 and C2, then we substitute the displacement in our direction will come to this, reduce to this position itself, and sigma r and sigma theta will come to this position itself by putting the value of sigma itself, putting the value of C1 and C2. Next. Now, if we add this sum, sigma r plus sigma theta, we will find that it is constant throughout the length of the wall of the cylinder. What will happen? So if you add this C1 plus C2 and sigma r plus sigma 2 together, sigma r plus sigma 2, this portion will automatically cancel, and this portion will be 2 multiplied by Pa square, Pb square divided by B square minus A square itself. But this particular portion is total, don't have any radius portion, radial portion itself. So this is totally a constant formula, depends entirely on external force, internal force and external force, and internal radius and external radius itself. And no other variable term is present here. What? Both this sigma r plus sigma theta means stress along radial direction, stress plus stress along circumferential direction will be equal to the twice of any of this function itself. So it is totally independent of R. Here, according to Hooke's law, this is sigma 2 produce a uniform tension or contraction in Z direction. Z direction is that longitudinal direction. These stresses produce a uniform extension and contraction and cross-section perpendicular to the axis. Remains plane. What we are saying is the presence of this stress, radial stress, and circumferential stress, whether we have the cylinder closed or open, produce a uniform extension or contraction in Z direction means longitudinal direction, and cross-section perpendicular to the axis means if we take a cross-section perpendicular to the axis, say it's a round wall with a thickness round ring, you can say, and this cross-section is as a uniform extension and contraction takes place, cross-section is not remains perpendicular and remains plane itself, because the tension and contraction are exactly uniform. If we consider two adjacent cross-section, the deformation undergone by the element will not interfere with the dimension of the neighboring element. So, if we take different sections in the longitudinal across this cross-section area, you will find the deformation of individual deformation will not interfering the deformation of the neighboring element. Individual deformation is themselves itself. Hence, the elements can be considered to be a state of plane stress. That is, if sigma z is equal to 0, this is important to know that the equation 12 is the equation just I told you. Pa and Pb as the numerical values of the compressive pressure of the compressive pressure applied. Yes, Pa and Pb is the numerical value, and it is put at negative because no way we can apply any tensile force inside this type of cylinder itself. Now, the cylinder subject to internal pressure, in this case, Pb, that is subject to internal pressure only. There is no external pressure, means Pb is equal to 0. So here Pb is equal to 0 and Pa is equal to, say, small p. The equation 1 and 12 will reduce sigma theta is like this. 1 minus b square, 1 minus 1 plus b square by r square. This CQ equation is saying that sigma r is always a compressive stress and sigma theta is a tensile stress. Just 1 second. Here, in this figure, it is shown the value of radial and circumferential stress across the thickness of the cylinder under internal pressure. So, this is the radial stress. It is the maximum at the innermost. It is reduced to the outer radius, but it is not. It is not equal to 0. And this is also the same in this particular side. Now, so the variation of circular stress across the cylinder and the thickness of the cylinder under the internal pressure. The thickness of the circumferential strain is greatest at the innermost surface of the cylinder itself. So sigma theta max is equal to P into A square plus B square divided by B square minus A square. If you put P is equal to A, R is equal to A square, this portion will become A square plus B square divided by A square itself. This A square will cancel each other. And so in the numerator, P into A square plus B square, in the denominator, P square minus A square. This is the maximum force at the innermost surface. Then sigma theta is always getting the internal pressure and approaches this value as it increases, so it never be reduced to below PA, irrespective of the amount of material added to the outside. So internal pressure can never reduce below PA. So it is always positive here and more than 1. So sigma theta must be greater than PA is P internal pressure P itself. Now, cylinder subject to external pressure only. There is no PA is equal to 0. There is no internal pressure, that is PA is equal to 0 and PP is equal to P. So this equation will take this particular form itself. The variation of the stresses across the thickness are shown here, you see. And there is no, if there is no inner hole, that is it is a totally what will say solid cylinder. If A is equal to 0, the stresses are uniformly distributed in the cylinder with sigma r is equal to sigma 3 is equal to minus P. And if say there is no A, this A is equal to 0 means PB square and B square will cancel each other. Here B square will cancel each other, and here B square minus A square divided by here if A is equal to 0, this portion becomes equal to 0 itself. So P, this portion remaining only minus P itself. So sigma 3 is equal to same and equal to P minus P itself, which is compressive in nature. Now, next question is, let us go through one numerical problem first. Now, what we have here, a pipe made of steel as the internal elastic limit is given by 275, that is not Y but R. Elastic limit given by 275 MPa, and E is equal to 207 to the power 6. Just 1 second, please. This is the yield stress, sigma Y. Yield stress means it will, as per our stress strain curve, there is a stress after beyond which if you stress, the deformation thus created will not be restored to the original position itself. Thus, that is the ultimate stress with up to which you cannot deform if you want to prove and to apply Hooke's law, because Hooke's law, any type of Hooke's law is applicable only when the stress is under gastric limit. Okay, now this is sigma y 275, E is the Young's modulus 207 to the power 6 kPa. That is kilopascal. If the pipe has an internal radius equal to A is equal to 5 centimeter, is subjected to an internal pressure equal to P into 10 to the power 7 to 10 to the power 3 kPa. This again the kilopascals. Determine the value, determine the proper thickness for the valve according to the major theory of failure. Use a factor of safety n is equal to 4 by 3. Now we have to follow in this equation. I have not taught you the theories of failure. It is not inside your syllabus, but I will try to teach you as per when the situation demands. We have time. The maximum principal stress, as per the principal stress theory, is maximum principal stress which is allowed is given by the formula sigma theta, which is the circumferential stress at radius r. Means principal stress, it should be equal to circumferential stress, and it will be at radius in a radius a. The maximum principal stress will be given by P. We have already got the formula. P is equal to B square plus S square divided by B square minus S square minus sigma y by n.
Internet, sir.
If the pipe has internal radius, use a factor of safety n is equal to 4 by 3. Okay, sorry. So we use this equation just I have discussed again, P into B square minus plus S square, and divided by B square minus S square, sigma by n. Sigma is the ultimate strength, it divided by the factor of safety, which is given by 4 by 3. Means, what is the practically sigma? What is I don't think you know anything about the factor of safety. Factor of safety, for any tensile stress or composite stress, we use the ultimate stress or yield stress for our limiting stress. Sometimes also elastic limit also. But if you use ultimate stress or yield stress, you have to use a term known as factor of safety, so that you are giving a certain buffer, certain external maximum limit to your ultimate stress, so that your failure is not obvious if you go beyond the stress itself. So you are reducing this ultimate stress or yield stress, which is your limiting stress, to a certain factor divided known as factor of safety. If you divide it by this, it will go to that particular portion itself. So what is that? If you divide the sigma y by factor 3 is 4 by 3. So things will reduce to accordingly. Things will reduce here accordingly. Here, what we are putting, the value of P, the internal pressure is giving 7 to the power kilopascal, so 10 to the power 6, and P square is given as 8 centimeter. B square is not given, A square is given, that is internal stress, that is 5 centimeter, 25 square into 100, 25 square divided by 5 divided by 100 meter square, means 25 into 10 to the power minus 4 meter plus B square. Here same is the cases here. Here A put this 25 104, B remains as it is, and the right sigma y is put 270 megapascal. We have reduced it to 2 kilopascal itself. Means we have to multiply it by 30 by 6 and divide by 3 by 4. Divide by 4 by 3, which case we became 3 by 4 itself. Next, what will happen here? We have got the equation after simplification in terms of B square, which is only one negative, one unknown factor. So B square will come as 17.2 into 10 to the power minus 2 meter, or 7.12 centimeter. And thus valve thickness between A and difference between A and B, that is T is equal to 2.12 centimeter itself. Next, what is maximum shear stress theory? As per our maximum shear stress theory, sigma max is equal to just 1 second, please. Maximum shear stress theory, which is tau max is equal to half sigma r sigma theta minus sigma r at r is equal to 0, means where radius is equal to 0, means there is a solid cylinder, there is no hollow cylinder like this. In cases, maximum shear stress will be half sigma theta, the circumferential stress minus sigma r, that is radial stress itself at r is equal to theta. So this is equal to PV square. We put this value of sigma r is PV square divided by B square minus S square. If you put the value of sigma theta minus sigma r, which is like this, say, this is sigma theta and sigma r. If we were subtract them, that will take this particular form itself. And we are saying that that is PV square by B square minus S square, which is given by, again, that yield stress divided by the factor of safety itself. Now, 70 into 10 to the power 6 B square divided by B square minus 25, we put the value of A itself, which is like here, we put the value of P multiplied by B square itself. Then put the value of factor of safety, which is 4 by 3, and put the value of sigma y is equal to 276 to 10 to the power 6, as it is given in kilopascal itself. And we are converting it to megapascal. Now, 70, if we simplify the 70 B square, we have reproduced this C square from both sides. The 70 B square is equal to 103.13 B square. If we are multiplying this side from here, and minus 275.8.1 10 to the power 4 plus B is equal to 8.82 10 to the power 2 meter is equal to 8.82 into centimeter. Then wall thickness is becomes difference between A and B, that is 3.42 centimeter. Next, we are going to maximum strain theory. What is given in the strain theory? Maximum strain which is allowed is given by 1 by E sigma theta minus gamma sigma r, where sigma theta, maximum circumferential stress, and sigma r is the maximum radial stress itself. And at r is equal to A, which at the innermost surface. Where, so we have to put the value of sigma theta here and sigma r here, here gamma and E is the other constant. Gamma E is given, gamma you can assume equal to 0.25. So if we put all the numerical values, we'll have this possibility B square minus 17 B square minus 20 minus 25 to the power 4 equal to this portion will become A square is equal to A square is not there, only B square minus 1.5 into B square itself. Now, that is equal to put the value of sigma theta into 3 by 4. Second. Shear strength 0.25 B square minus gamma square stability with this. Right? This 354. Here. And now, if we simplify further, this will become as a between 275 75 plus this square, this plus this. And divide TT as a plus 3/4 equal to 3/4 275. Now, if we simplify further, it will reduce to around B is equal to 7.38 into the power 3 is equal to 7.38 centimeter, and while with wall thickness is equal to T into 2.38 centimeter itself. So, what you do here, which is use the maximum strength theory. So, the maximum strength which is possible is given by the 1 by E minus sigma theta minus sigma R. In gamma is the Poisson ratio itself at R is equal to A. It's at the innermost surface. This is the maximum necessity is possible. So we put the value of sigma theta and sigma R in terms of P and B and A. So we are having this thing in the formula itself. Next, where we are giving that R is equal to we have the internal pressure P, R is equal to given as 5. A is always given and it is equal to 5. So it is 25 pi square 10 to the power 4. And gamma is not exactly given in the problem, but we can say if not given, you can say have the value equal to 0.25. So after simplification, this portion is being reached here. Just 1 second. So this portion becomes 1.25 b squared and this portion 1.75 b squared. Now, next we'll go for the maximum distortion energy theory. Where sigma 1 is equal to sigma theta and sigma 2 is equal to 0, sigma 3 is equal to sigma r is equal to minus p. Now, distortion energy means that we have to say sigma 1, sigma 2, and sigma 3. Where sigma 1 is the circumferential stress, sigma jet longitudinal stress that is equal to 0, sigma 3 also sigma r radial stress that is equal to minus p, because it is the internal equal to the internal pressure itself at the innermost radius. All three cases we are supposed to use the maximum value of sigma theta sigma r minus p, and the equation of the maximum distortion edge is given by 1 plus 12g, where g stands for radius of modulus of rigidity sigma theta square plus sigma r square plus sigma r minus sigma theta whole square itself. So we put the value of sigma theta, value of sigma theta and sigma r, and sigma theta, sigma r here is the respective area, and this equation will take this particular form 1 plus gamma divided by 3e to 2 sigma r plus sigma theta itself. Now this is equal to 1 plus gamma divided by sigma y square divided by n square. Is that what is this? The distortion energy given by the maximum distortion energy given by the yield stress by factor stress whole square multiplied by 1 plus gamma by E. Sigma r plus sigma r plus sigma theta is equal to sigma y square by n square itself. Both these sides were cancelling each other, and we have both these sides are cancelling each other. That is 3. So this and 4. 3. This side. Now, this equation take this particular form, sigma theta plus sigma theta, and if you put again the value of the sigma theta in terms of P, and A, this will take this particular form, and this will take this particular form itself, and sigma 1 is equal to 1 itself, and plus this equals sigma theta squared by n square. Now what will happen? Putting this by sigma by p n equal to fy, and simplify, you get 3 fr square b square. We have put fy with this equation to for the equation of our problem itself, and that was 1 second. That is equal to p and n. That is p over n, and sigma square goes to the p square half, right? Which, and so this equation, as per the quadratic solution of the quadratic equation, b square is given by b square, this one, b plus b square into 4ac, b plus minus b square 4ac, b square minus 4ac, b square again. So we have square it, and 4 multiplied by b multiplied by a multiplied by c. A is for 3 plus fi square, and b is equal to 1 minus fi square. So you put it like this, and divided by 2a. It's 2 multiplied by this thing, this is a. So if we simplify it bit further, it will become denominator remains same, and numerator after subtracting and everything, we write like this. A square will come out as the common terms, and to the fi square, square is coming out, and this items under the square root is become 4f square, 4 square minus 3, or 2 into 3 minus f square. With way we know is given by 5 centimeter, or 5 into the 1 minus 2, and fy is given as 2.75 divided by 20 into 4 by 3, and another is P internal stress, that is the stress inside is 7 to the power 6. We put this value Fi is 2.94. Then we put Fi, the only unknown factor here, and A is another unknown factor. So then that says B square will become 6.3 or 13.4, or we have to use the maximum one, that is B is equal to 7.1, 7.9 to the power minus 2 meter is equal to 7.9 centimeter itself. The wall thickness is equal to 2.9. Wall thickness will be 2.99 centimeter itself. Now let us go to the next portion. When the cylinder is fairly long, case of a pure strain, a plane strain. When the cylinder is fairly large section that are for them, the ends can be considered to be in a state of plane strain, and we can assume that sigma j does not vary along the z-axis itself. We are considering a cylinder which is long section that are far from end and cannot be considered to be a state of plane strain. What we have discussed so far is the state of plane strain, and we see that z does not vary along the z-axis itself, because even if it is a cylinder which is fairly long, it's the pressure is creating at the end is not affecting the radial circumstantial stresses itself. Now, as in the case of plane stress, the question is d by dr r into sigma r minus theta. Then from Hooke's law, we are getting epsilon r equal to 1 by e, and sigma r minus gamma sigma theta plus sigma z. Epsilon theta, epsilon z, we are having this written in terms of the stress in radial direction, longitudinal direction, and circumferential direction, and we put this value of epsilon theta. Since epsilon z is 0, here we have no necessity, so one has to from the last equation with epsilon z, sigma z is equal to gamma epsilon r plus epsilon theta itself. Next, if we these two sigma r and sigma theta first two remain same as it is. solving for sigma R and sigma R, then we have the three equations. We get sigma theta and sigma R, E divided by 1 minus gamma, 1 plus gamma whole square, 2 minus theta, 1 plus R, V into R plus 1 minus gamma into epsilon theta, 1 minus R epsilon plus V epsilon 0. On substituting for epsilon epsilon theta from 3 and 4, you see the above equation becomes sigma theta is equal to E by 1 minus R. E divided by substitute for epsilon 3 and 4 here. The above equation becomes sigma theta E divided by 1 minus 2R plus 1 plus gamma. Gamma takes here by dr plus 1 minus gamma dr by R. And sigma R in terms of similarly sigma R, we got this equation like this. Now substitute the equation of equilibrium 5C. Then d by dr is equal to 1 minus sigma R into du by dr, v by ur minus dv by r minus dr itself. Here we put the value of sigma R, sigma theta here and cancel the common problem itself. Thus, we are having this formula here in case of sigma theta and getting the value of here in the of sigma R. And again, this portion is reduced to v by dy to R for simplification, R d ur by R minus ur by R. It is the same as equation 7 for plane stress case. The solution to be same as equation 8. Then you are here again C1 R C2 R. Then where C1 C2 is the constant integration and then some equation earlier equation sigma and sigma 2 in terms of C1 and C2. It's like this here. Once again we achieve the sigma R plus sigma 2 is a constant because this portion is cancelling each other and after the action stress from sigma theta is given extra z is sigma minus 2 sigma 1 into C1. Apply the boundary condition. Applying these to boundary condition itself, sigma R is equal to minus PA when R is equal to A, sigma R is equal to minus PB when R is equal to B itself. Next step is E divided by 2 divided by 1 by R, C1 and C2 is here, another E divided by 1 minus 2 gamma, 1 plus gamma, C1 minus 2 CR into P2 here is equal to minus PB. So if we solve, we'll get C1 1 minus gamma, 1 minus 2 gamma R, 1 plus